And as humanity changes, and as technology impacts humanity going forward, we need to understand what is the role of leadership today, and how can leadership really empower people in the future. So I'm here with Your Excellency Ali Barzani. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I think if I start my first question today, it's about your experience in Sandhurst. Do you mind talking about us about how to emphasize discipline, how to really look at your character and service, and maybe how did this shape your leadership mindset, and maybe what lessons can young leaders really draw from it?
It's a pleasure to be back in Dubai, especially at the World Government Summit. And nice to meet you again, Your Excellency. Today I'm deeply honored to be speaking in front of my mentor, my father, and the guests here. So typically, leadership is widely misunderstood into only meaning something in military, politics, or business. However, leadership takes many forms and presents itself across one's daily life. 2 years ago, actually before we first met, I had the privilege of attending the Royal Military Academy of Sandhurst. And this institution, as you know, was established on developing the characteristics one needs to take on smaller tasks and larger responsibilities later on. So, for example, we had to make our beds every day, polish our boots, iron our shirts, sometimes all of these even before sunrise. And yes, these tasks may seem simple, and most of you in the audience, including yourself, can relate to. However, if done on a daily basis and a consistent matter, that's what will enable you later on to take on larger responsibilities. A key point in Sandhurst is patrolling through the Brecon Beacons, something I never want to think of again. And for those who don't know what Brecon Beacons is, it's a mountainous terrain in the United Kingdom where most of the British Special Forces conduct their operations and exercises in to be prepared for the harshest conditions. So during my time, we had an exercise called the Long Reach, and with my section, I remember, we had a hike of 72 kilometers in only 36 hours, going through a very rainy weather, blackouts, and at some point I started hallucinating. Yet, we still managed to finish it. And this was the same discipline, Your Excellency, that Sandhurst instilled within us the very first few weeks, that then later enabled us to conquer the Brecon Beacons, we say. So, why is this relevant? Because you don't always need to hold a position of power to develop traits such as discipline, resilience, and judgment under pressure. You only need to have the right mindset, the right intent, and to focus on yourself. And it's worth mentioning that as Kurds, we are by default resilient.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for a great answer to this question. I think everything you spoke about really resonated with us. Even with us running this World Government Summit, we have to go through the same thing. The ability to be resilient, the ability to make fast judgments, the ability to kind of be agile through kind of changes. Again, to really double down on this, Your Excellency, we live in an ever-changing world with so many really uncertainties in the technological field, at the kind of economic ways, societals, and so on. Kind of from what you've seen from a leadership perspective, what qualities must future leaders really develop today to navigate these uncertainties, to really understand these complexities that we see, and what are kind of, how do they really understand these rapid global changes? And I don't think this is something that happens every couple of years or every 5 years. This happens on a daily basis for all leaders around the world.
Your Excellency, as you know, the world is changing rapidly, and it's just getting faster and faster. Every day doesn't follow the same pattern anymore. As you said, we are talking about AI now. 10 years ago it was social media. 4 or 5 years from now, quantum computing and super AI. So this will really impact the society. Spread of misinformation will get quicker and easier. It's going to outdate skills. But regardless, as leaders, we need to, as I mentioned, outdating skills and misinformation will get quicker and easier. So it will also impact how truly a leader can lead. And what a leader needs is a foundation of beliefs and qualities that can future-proof them from the challenges I just mentioned. To begin with, values and principles is very important to keep your decisions consistent. I need to shed a light on adaptability. Leaders today must be able to adapt to how quick the world is changing. For instance, during COVID-19, the schools that adapted online learning continued educating millions of students, and the schools who didn't had to stay back. And the last point is integrity, something we used to refer back to often in Sandhurst. And with integrity, commonly people believe that we are judged by what we do. But I believe we are judged by what we do when we believe no one is watching. So leaders cannot rely on skills alone. They need to have strong values, adaptability, as we mentioned, and integrity. You know, tasks we used to struggle with a few years ago can be handled with AI instantly today.